Good. How are you doing?
I'm good, good. Um, see you just like in the live. Okay, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. So I'm gonna bring your portfolio up now. But do you want
okay.
to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, my name is Alexandre Müll, and I'm from Italy, and I graduated in 3D environment this year, like in 2020. This year, 2020. Yeah.
Mm,
So at the moment, just I'm working full time, but I just got the time to come back to the 3D modeling and like, okay, I have to give more time and do it something new.
mm. So wait, you said you're working. Are you in the industry, or you're just working on your 3D art to get into the industry?
At the moment, I'm working as print designer and in
Mm.
retail, so it's like a part of the gaming industry, but I would like to start in the game industry.
Right. Okay. I mean, so let's start with like, so you've got a concept here. Dang, that already is super dark. I love this. Uh, yeah. So you have a concept section,
hmm
which I guess you just continue to add to.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a good choice to put in Art Station or just like remove it straight away because it could be
Mm-hmm.
like far away in what I've been looking for. So it's like, and can like mislead someone that is looking for my the position that I would like to apply. No.
Right. Yeah, I agree with what they're saying in chat. It kind of reminds them of the Love Robots series on Netflix. So that's kind of cool. But I mean, I think it's okay as long as it's kind of portrayed as that, right? Like you have all of your thumbnails here, and you
hmm
have the illustration set. I guess if you want to, you could put a text here, kind of like I did with the rocks and how some others have, where it's like an ongoing area where you just post uh, illustrations. So if you put that
Okay.
text here in the thumbnail, then it's you could put like the phrase like ongoing or illustrations ongoing, and then it's just a place that
Okay.
you're posting into when you do illustrations. But
Oh.
let's see what this looks really intriguing. Dude, the thumbnail
So
really makes you click on this one too.
this one was a group project that I
Mm-hmm.
collaborated with other like a very skilled artist.
Mm-hmm.
And my main task was mainly for foliage and some organic mainly, and I have to focus on the animation as well. So basically, I
So
want to
you were
do
okay.
several things at the same time, but I didn't know that like okay, let's see how it goes, and we will figure out after.
Yeah, I mean it does have the Half Life feel. So you're working with
Yes,
cameras and the foliage.
yes.
Okay, so we can focus on that. These scenes are really strong compositionally, and then like the shadows are just really dark. So it can be hard to like everything's really contrasty, and there's tons of details. So like with that contrast comes a lot of noise. Um, I think your foliage is pretty consistent in the scene, and I guess it's just a
Okay.
matter of like, so you have some like ivy type growth happening over here,
hmm
and I feel like if you were able to separate the wall texture from that foliage, it would be able to pop out more, right? So
Okay.
I don't know if you were able to control that or whatnot, but it's more of a balance thing in the overall scene.
Yes, I can control that.
Oh man, this is
And
dude. They got the train in there too.
yes, yeah. So I think probably a lot of stuff going on here, but it's like a lot of minds all together. They create this kind of like this kind of level. So yeah.
Mm. It's really interesting. It's just it is very busy, like we're saying.
hmm
When you come out and it opens up and you can see the, I mean, all I can say is the camera work and the foliage is pretty good.
hmm
Uh, the camera panning through in this shot it does, what is it, slows down, right? And then it comes to a stop. That's the shots I was always talking about, where it's like you don't want it to stop. You want to cut it before it starts to slow down. And it's the same with this shot where it starts. Can you imagine if it faded from this shot to this shot, but it was already moving? It feels much more polished because of it. So it's like, so if I go from, I guess I can kind of simulate it. So if we go from this shot where I start it, and then you see it start to move,
And that's mm-hmm.
and if you start it actually from this point, it's already moving much stronger, which is so weird because it's such a small little detail, but it does immense quality bumps to the way things are shot. Dude, I love how you guys keep hiding this little gnome guy. He's like everywhere. Have you seen, like, he's all over the place?
Yeah, a lot of references.
But no, this looks, I mean, this is really cool.
The only problem of I think my portfolio, I don't know. I would, as I mentioned before, I would love to be generalist, but I think I'm like going or like heading to like a be organic modeler or like a prop 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 artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I need still to figure out.
Is this another team project?
No, this is mine.
This
It's
is all you?
Yeah, the final one. Yeah.
This hang on. So this the Valley of Thread?
Yeah, the Valley of Thread is from my personal concept.
Dude, this is this looks awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is really cool.
My main part on this project, probably you will realize a little bit later, I try to focus mainly, especially on the shaders, because it was basically the challenge that I was to myself. Like, oh, I would like to understand more how the shaders works and how can apply in this level. So I just like work on animation material or like trying to understand glass shaders and like terrain shaders.
This is, I mean, when I look at how you're doing these shots, or like how the materials read, this reminds me of very, this sounds crazy, but it sounds it looks like, you know, ArenaNet.
Okay.
It looks like their work. Let me see if I
Really?
can. Yeah, so I mean, ArenaNet did Guild Wars, right? This looks like Guild Wars, but more realized, I guess, because I think the way that they had to build Guild Wars kind of requires that it's, I mean, it's older as well, but it kind of requires that they don't push their shaders or their propping that far. But in their concepts, it's gone to this level of detail, and there's a lot of stuff going on here that looks really good. I think the stuff that's sticking out to me right now, at least in the video, is this animated particle that's fighting the fog. But I think that's, I mean, I think that's it, other than maybe like trying to get the in motion. It's not as strong, I think, as the shots that you've framed, because these shots are like really strong. Especially this one. This looks like freaking concept art.
Thank you.
Let's scroll through this a little bit more. This is cool. So this is like a little bit of a breakdown of like the parts.
And I wanted to focus just because it's called like the Valley of Thread. The main task of this project is like focusing on the fabric and the thread. So it's like I was working on the animation in Maya and trying to figure out how to create the right movement of the fabric in order that I can put in the level.
Yeah, this looks really good. See, and especially here, this is where I noticed that it's missing out on some details. So you've got all of this plant work going on,
Yeah.
and you have like a really cold light that's kind of highlighting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I can make this bigger. It's kind of highlighting the leaves more,
Yes.
and I think if that was in here, it's not popping out like that. I think having a strong backlight that just
Okay.
popped all of those shapes out, man, this would be like that'd be like the icing on the cake, man. Like this would look so
Mm-hmm.
good with that type of detail popping out, because the fidelity of the scene is really good, and the balance of like somehow there's enough detail everywhere, but at the same time it's not really harsh on your eyes.
May
So
I have a question?
yeah.
Just in case, because when I was like doing this level, I have like some kind of critique in
Mm-hmm.
order just for the for the floor, and they told me that it was a little bit too much stylized, or was like a kind of
Mm.
goes against like the level. I don't know what could be your opinion. Like I
I
don't know.
mean, I see what they're saying because the way the shapes are kind of
Yeah.
feels like it's slightly outside of the. It feels like it's in a game, really. It doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
a personal piece. It feels like it was directed by an art director. um, I mean, I see what they're talking about, but it's not popping out enough to warrant like reacting to, I guess. Like it could be less contrasty with the
Mm-hmm.
information, because it does look like there's maybe not a rhyme or a reason to how the cracks form, or why some are
Yes.
dark and some are light. Um,
Yeah. Basically, I just created in Substance Designer, and after that, I use like the vertex painter in order to
mhm.
combine both material from
Okay.
the sand and the floor.
So do they match exactly, or like when you paint between the two, do they are the cracks in different spots and stuff like that?
The cracks, basically, they match actually.
Okay. I mean, I think it's a really
So
interesting way of doing it.
I just cover some imperfection with
Hmm.
some decal as well, in order that you couldn't see that it's like that's a repetition.
Hmm. Yeah, you wanted to break it up so you wouldn't see like tiling.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it doesn't stick out to me because you're looking at this table and you're looking at the
Mm-hmm.
statue. The light sources are really interesting, and like seeing this these shadow shapes coming from the lights is
Mm-hmm.
really cool. It's a shame that it doesn't go out far enough to kind of highlight on the edges of these these pillars,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be pushing the light pretty far out, and you might lose the balance that you have in the scene. I think I see it now, which is what, dude, that is that really it, like back here.
What you mean?
There's like these little light splotches. Let me see if I can, we'll see if I can paste it in here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like little light splotches here in the on the wall. Is that
Okay.
coming from the light?
It's from the light, from the lamp. Yeah.
Okay, so it is going out that far. Huh.
Yes.
Okay. Dude, that kind of makes it feel like a concept because of those subtlety value shifts. I think that's what's tricking my eye.
Mm.
Is because it's like everything is kind of being merged together uh,
Okay.
by those types of details. I mean, so honestly, I think the only thing that I could comment on with this is maybe that the balance of brightness, it's all very muted, right? And the brightest source is the light, which,
Probably
yeah,
yeah. The
go ahead.
fact that you see that the fact that you see in that, because there's another lamp on the top. There were there are four lamps in that room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because there's these little tiny ones, but you're saying above there's like more?
Yeah.
Man,
There's another on the top. Yeah.
see these types of details too, and you see how like the chains are popping out really well.
Mhm.
And you've got like, is are these threads?
This one is like a blueprint.
Okay. Are
So
they threads or are they like spider
yeah,
webs?
no, trust.
Threads? Okay. Yeah, because I think if you were to have that type of stuff pop out more, that would also, man, there's some, it would just, it would have the contrast that I guess we're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can, no, I can't do that right now. But it's, I mean, this scene looks really cool. It's quite impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. What are you working on next, actually? Because you've got some stylized stuff going on now.
Yes, because I'm trying to approach to the stylized because I've
Mm-hmm.
never done before. So it's like a kind of like a challenging for me. So I didn't know like how to approach. So I had to figure out through like watching a lot of YouTube, like a tutorial and some like a great artist, like for
Yeah.
example Anya, she's really good. And I was in between create like a hand painted stylized or like a just procedural. So I was like in between. I'm going more like to hand painted or like going through like a creative material and like apply from substance paint and just like a change the values.
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing both as well. Like I think my personal approach would be like you do a broad substance painter pass, and when I say broad, it's
Mm-hmm.
like this thing's supposed to be red, and in substance painter you're getting the red on there, but you're getting the red on there with some value shifts in like a broad sense. So it's kind of like painted,
Okay.
and then going back in on another layer on top of that, and then actually painting. Jasmine does a really good job of utilizing uh, maybe not necessarily procedural, but bakes
Mm-hmm.
to help her get like lighting direction. Because like you
Okay.
build your high poly right, and then you could use uh, the normal direction from one channel to give you side highlights as a mask
Okay.
in Substance Painter, and then paint on top of that as well. So you can use it to assist you without necessarily just
Mm-hmm.
uh, using it outright as well. So I mean, at the end, it's mainly about like what you're trying to get as the final
To achieve.
result.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it looks like to you in the end is however you get there is how you get there, right? But it's really interesting seeing you're trying to go more into this stylized, or like you feel like you want to push your stylized work further. Like this one's substantially stronger to the last one. Oh man, these
Mm-hmm.
sculpts are cool.
Thank
So
you.
you're definitely growing in that. Oh yeah, you're even using your packed masks and emissives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You know what's really interesting is so you've got a packed mask stuff here, right? And you also got your emissives here. Um, just to give you the idea that you could push your emissives further, you could actually
Mm-hmm.
do the same thing that you're doing with the pack masks here and separate these like the bands. So what let's say
Okay.
there's three colors here, right?
Yes.
So you could put these in three different channels so that they're separated, and then you could color
Okay.
them inside of Unreal. That way you can author them in post or inside of Unreal to choose the colors that you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Cause for this project, I said like, oh, I'm gonna do just like for the portfolio. I
Mm.
don't want to
Oh yeah,
touch
it's a tool
Unreal.
bag as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, otherwise I would have done in that way. Yeah.
But dude, this is like you're definitely getting up there in the quality, like with the emissives how they are here.
Mm-hmm.
It really is showing a very particular style, which is pretty cool. I think the rocks need a little bit more love. Like they seem a little bit like they were just put into substance painter, added some edges
Yes.
and then blurred them
Mm-hmm.
a little bit and called it good. But
Okay.
everything else is, I mean, the sculpts are really interesting. I especially like this gong type thing. And then your wireframe, while it's pretty dense in the face, uh, I
It's
guess you're
yeah.
not really shooting for like quote
No.
unquote real time. You're going for I just want to make this because it looks cool. and you're trying to make it look as good as
Yeah.
you want. Yeah. No,
No,
this is cool.
but yeah, otherwise I would have done like the retopo in Maya because
Yeah.
I've done just the decimation master and just like a clean a little bit in Maya. But normally, like I just like if I need to do properly, like I just import it to Maya, do properly the retopo, and after that, like work from there.
Right. Is is there a reason why you're not using like I mean, I know it's in tool bag, so like your gloss, your specular and gloss,
Yes.
because that looks like there's elements that could be metal, but you haven't made them metallic looking or have
Yeah.
properties that make them more reflective like metal. Is that was that a conscious choice or is that just uh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, in certain way, yes, I wanted because I didn't want to feel like too much realistic in the metal way. So I
Mm-hmm.
want like to give like a kind of vibe that you can see that it's metal, but it's still like you can see that it's like a came from a concept. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
You
So
could do like Jasmine and paint the highlight in there.
yes,
Or place a light really close to it so it looks like it's shiny.
yes.
No, I mean I think you're definitely your quality is growing in the stylized. What are you trying to do next?
I'm working to like a level project that I start in December, but I
Mm,
just like do my work, and so I just have the time to take it and like okay, I'm gonna work on it. I guess probably you're gonna see it. I think I'm already put here in a station
hmm.
the like work in progress.
Oh, is it in
Probably it's
here?
in all. Yeah, because I updated. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then this one. So there's the sky bridge work in progress, and
Yeah,
then you added a
yeah.
statue.
Still at the beginning. So
Hmm.
it's just like I'm starting. After that, I'm gonna take the single elements and just like come back to just a brush and do properly. Just to have a like a understanding how I want the piece,
Hmm.
and after that, I can properly doing all what they require.
Oh yeah, dude, this is really interesting. I
Yeah.
would suggest doing what Jasmine showed in DinCon what like last week? Was it? No,
Okay.
it was this week. It was on Monday. She's making a blog of her progress in Notion because Notion's free, so you can just kind of post away, and then you can
Okay.
actually link that to people if you wanted to. Because usually I would say trying to keep work in progress out of your portfolio and keep it in
Hmm.
blogs. Notion is a an easy way to do that for yourself, unless you want to show it to people, and then in that case, I would put it in a blog somewhere, and then
No,
link your
I've done
blog
just
somewhere
for
in here.
today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Then I
3 hours ago.
yeah. Like,
But I mean, it's really interesting seeing the thought process and how you're thinking about where this is all going. What in the heck is that? That's amazing. No, this is interesting. Now, this is going to be a really intriguing scene as it develops. Do you have any questions about uh, what you're like, where you're going, and or what you're trying to do?
want to keep probably staying to the organic
Mm,
or like to the prop, but I'm not sure yet because like I'm just experimenting because I found really fun like working with the shaders as well or with the particles. So it's quite interesting. But the best way will be to be a generalist, but it's kind of hard because like you have to have quite a big knowledge of everything.
right. I mean, one way to force generalist is to just be in a small studio because then you
Hmm.
even if you're quote unquote not good enough to do something,
Hmm.
if you're wanting to do it and you're like you're good enough, I guess, for the team, they're just like, yeah,
Hmm.
let him do the lighting, let her do the lighting, let her do the the foliage, and you'll end up becoming a generalist out of it, right? Because you're only going to become really good as a generalist by practicing
Yes.
those skill sets, right? I'm going to
Yeah,
there
definitely.
was someone in chat by someone I mean Ghost Detector linked how Dota does their
Oh,
baked
cool.
maps. So I'm gonna just post it in the Group B review uh, chat group for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's a lot of really good looking stuff in here, and
Mm-hmm.
especially this scene, the Valley of Thread, is really intriguing to me. And I think it's just more of a balance of lighting of like getting the areas to pop out that you want to come forward. Uh,
Okay.
and I think it's like those threads and the statue and like the ivy behind the statue. There
Mm-hmm.
could be some more contrast in those areas to really push their narrative further, because you don't feel the threads other than
Yeah,
that there's
instead. Yeah.
fabrics and stuff around, right? And of course, it is very difficult to highlight something that's usually about a pixel thick. So I totally get that. Um, I would say that maybe this shot needs more explaining if it's going to stay.
Mm.
It's hard to
Because the
understand like what
mm.
you're looking at here. I know that there's a bunch of fabrics on the side here,
Because
but yeah,
I wanted like to emphasize the thread, but I didn't know how because they are so tiny, and
yeah,
especially because there's like the so machine on the table, but on the top there's like some machinery that collects the thread, and
hmm,
everything is in movement. You can see here. Unfortunately, you can't see because it's too tiny. So I don't know
yeah.
how to to show up unless
I mean,
I'm gonna focus like a zoom in and
yeah. I th- I think I would look at how thread is filmed, like when they show a
mhm.
machine processing thread and how you're able to see it. Because I guess in those shots they're going to be really bright, right? Um,
Yes.
I think making it a little bit thicker and giving it some type of a specular highlight or like its roughness allows for it to have like a sheen or a highlight to it. That way you do
Okay.
see it, because you are seeing
Mhm.
it in some of the shots here, and it's just a matter of like really kind of going over the top, I
Yeah.
guess.
Because the only point in that part is seeing that it was quite thick, but it wasn't very imbalance with the proportion. That's the problem. So I couldn't or if I need to stick with the proportion,
Hmm.
you're not gonna see it. If I'm
Right.
not sticking with the proportion, you will see it.
I mean, I guess the other thing you could do is instead of a single thread, do like 30 or 40, which sounds insane. It would probably start looking like a spider's cave in here if you went too crazy with it. But really kind of
Okay.
like going over the top with it, seeing them,
Mm-hmm.
and then saying, okay, this is too many, and then removing in order to get the image and message across, but then scaling it back so it doesn't look so crazy. Because usually that's how I've approached and other people have approached in games. Is you usually will take the theme, go insane with it, and then scale it back in order to reel it in.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. I'll
Uh,
give it a try. Let's see.
yeah, I think the only other thing I would say is, and it might just be the lighting, but there's some materials that feel quite dark in here
Mm-hmm.
for their albedo. And without seeing the buffer, I'm not sure if that's the case or not. But man, these materials look really cool. Where
Thank
did you
you.
find these fabrics?
I did it. Like the design, I did all of them.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah, the designer did all of them. Yeah.
That's hardcore. Yeah, I guess it's like the materials are just, maybe it's the lighting, because the lighting is very like mid toned and darker. So it's just keep that in mind.
Okay.
You could really push things up where you want the eyes to focus on stuff. But no, it's super cool. Do you have anything else you
Thank
want to
you.
ask before we go?
I think you answer to all my question at the moment. In case I'm gonna pop in the Discord and I will ask.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and don't hesitate to tag me on your next post in critiques. I
Okay, I
can
will do it.
give you some feedback on that. But yeah, super cool. There's some really nice
Thank
stuff
you
in
so
here.
much. Thank
A-
you.
And I guess we'll talk later then.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.